Good morning. We were doing ways to reduce air pollution. Now, 3 techniques we had done. Tell me quickly which was the first one?
Electrostatic precipitators.
Electrostatic precipitators. Which was the second one?
Scrubbers.
Tell me quickly. Scrubbers. Scrubbers are mainly used to release or get rid of which gas?
SO2.
SO2.
And where do we generally use scrubbers?
Industry.
Industries.
Industries. Very good. And the third one was, which was a little bit expensive?
Catalytic converter.
Catalytic converter.
Name 3 metals which can be used as catalysts and catalytic converters.
Platinum, palladium, and rhodium.
Palladium and rhodium.
And why are they called converters? Which gas to which gas do they convert?
CO2, CO2 and NO2 to NO.
CO2 and NO2 to NO.
Very good, very good. So this is these 3 techniques. Let me finish this chapter quickly so that 14 marks 1 unit is done and we can start doing the questions. I left on hybrid vehicles. I explained it to you. Give me an example quickly.
Yes, ma'am, Wagoner.
Wagoner.
Why is it called hybrid vehicles? Vehicle?
Because it
Not
can
all
run on
Wagoners.
Because they can run on.
Yes. So we are done with air pollution. We are going to move on to noise pollution today. How do you define it? Again, the keyword is going to be undesirable. Undesirable high level of sound, noise pollution. So how do you define any unwanted sound which is released into the environment and it disturbs the psychological and physiological well-being of human beings? Any undesired unwanted sound is what we call as noise. We have an act for this also, for noise pollution. See, we had Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. You remember this act we had in which year? Air Pollution Act. 1980?
1986.
1980.
Air pollution, beta. The first, when I started the chapter, I told you, the first act.
1984.
See this? Environment Protection Act was 1986.
Six.
This environment protection means we were including everything in this. Air, water, mainly most of the things were included in this. So for air, before this, we had another act also that was passed. Here you can see this was somewhere earlier in 1981. Then 1987, some amendments, some changes were done. And noise was included as an air pollutant. What was the change which was done in 1987? In air pollution only. What was included?
Noise.
Noise.
Harmful gases, of course, are there. But then noise also was taken as a factor of which pollution? Which kind of pollution?
Air pollution.
Air pollution.
Air pollution.
So, causes of noise pollution, very simple. Jet plane or rocket takeoff. What do you mean by takeoff? What do you mean by takeoff? Jet takeoff, rocket takeoff. What does the word takeoff mean, children?
Launch.
When it starts flying, beta, when it starts its flight, that is the takeoff. Normally, when you board a flight, we say, no, the flight is going to take off. So when it starts to fly, when it starts boarding, that point is called takeoff. That is the time you have the maximum noise. How many decibels when a jet plane takes off?
150.
150.
Yes. It is 150 dB. What is dB?
Decibel.
Decibel.
I hope you know this is the unit for measuring sound. So one of the chief source of noise pollution is with jet planes or the rockets, they take off when they start. Second is use of loudspeakers and music systems for longer periods of time. Then we have traffic noise, industry and factory noises. Tell me quickly, 3 modes of noise pollution. Hurry up.
Jet plane or
Traffic,
rocket
industry,
takeoff and use of
factory.
loudspeakers, traffic noise, industrial and factory noise.
These are very common. You experience them almost every second day. Now, what are the effects of noise pollution? Hearing disability in humans. Humans are not able to hear properly. I mean, loud sounds only they can hear. Sound level, which is higher than 150 decibels or more, they may damage the eardrums. So permanently, the hearing ability can get damaged. Permanent disability is after a level of how many decibels? Again, a 1 marker question.
150.
150 or more than.
Yes, minimum is 150, but if it is more than 150, it can cause permanent damage to hearing. Sleeplessness, increased heartbeats, altered breathing patterns, and stress. What do you mean by altered? Altered. Altered means what, beta? Altered means changed. Like we have a normal breathing pattern. That if we are sleeping, we will breathe so many times in a minute. If we are running, we'll have this. This is a normal breathing pattern. But those people who live in areas where there's a lot of noise pollution, the breathing patterns also alter. They breathe faster compared to the people who are living in peaceful areas. And psychological disorders. Of course, they suffer from a lot of psychological disorders. Then what should we do? We should use sound absorbent materials in buildings. Which buildings should we use? Should we use sound absorbing materials in our house also? Do we use sound absorbing material at our home?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
We don't use? Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Unknowingly, you do use sound absorbing materials at your home also. Can you give me example?
Yes,
Any
ma'am. Sofa,
material?
beds.
Yes, sofa, mattresses, curtains, they are all sound absorbing materials. If you enter a room where there is nothing, there is no furniture, there are no curtains, and you speak something, you'll see that your sound echoes a lot. There is no absorption of sound. But a room where you have sofas, curtains, carpets, the echo is not there. You can hear each other very clearly. The reason is the same, that extra sound is being absorbed by these materials. So you can use sound absorbent materials by muffling noise. That is suppressing the noise. How can you do this? By planting more trees. There is a government regulation also that all the factories should have some green patches inside the factory and outside the gates. Though very few people follow it, but there is a general government guideline. All factories which cause noise pollution should have a green line, green patch, green belt. Why do you think it is advised to have more trees in the area where there is noise pollution? Because green plants, they muffle noise. What do they do?
Muffle the noise.
What do you mean by muffle? Suppress. Means make it less loud. They muffle the noise. Then they create on-free zones around hospitals and schools. This you've seen the boards everywhere, but nobody bothers to listen. Then sticking to the permissible sound level of crackers and loudspeakers. Again, hardly people bother about it. And fixing the time for playing loudspeakers. Again, nobody bothers about this. But these are there as rules on papers, government guidelines. So can you tell me about 2-3 control measures of noise pollution in India?
Use of sound absorbent material and by muffling noise, creating horn-free
Planting
zones, fixing the time for playing speakers.
Yes. Though we have a specific time, very few people follow. Does anyone know what is the time?
10 or
10
11,
PM.
I guess.
Yes, it is actually 9 to 10. Last limit is 10 o'clock, but people keep playing. Any two sources of noise? Tell me quickly, two sources of noise pollution.
And jet planes and rockets and
Traffic and
loudspeakers,
industrial
traffic noises.
Please mention the word takeoff, okay? Always mention the word takeoff. Because when they take off, they actually cause noise pollution. Not the time when they're flying, that time it's not there. It just generally happens when they take off. Now we come to another pollution, most common one, water pollution. It is defined as any undesirable change. Same words are being repeated if you see. Undesirable change, physical, chemical, biological properties of water that affect the living beings adversely. The definition is going to be the same. Only this word is going to change. Due to human activities, ponds, rivers, ocean, and estuaries are getting polluted in several parts of the world. Government of India has passed another act, that is Water Prevention and Control of Water Act. Which year was it passed?
1974.
1970.
1974.
So many years now, not much done. Sources of water pollution. We have two types of sources. Natural sources, you cannot do anything for this. Whenever there's soil erosion, clay and silt, leaching of minerals, falling of organic matter from the banks. On the banks, you've got trees. So the dead leaves, they keep falling into the water. All these are natural sources of water pollution. Whenever there's soil erosion, mud, soil, clay, minerals, they'll all come into the water source. These are all natural sources. Second is man-made sources, or we also call them as anthropogenic sources. What is the other name of man-made sources?
Anthropogenic.
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 We are throwing the domestic sewage in water. Our bathrooms and washrooms are connected to water sources, so soaps and detergent water is entering there. All the wastewater from agriculture field, which has fertilizers and pesticides, industrial waste, they all constitute which source of water pollution? What is the word we use for man-made sources?
Anthropogenic.
Anthropogenic.
So let's talk about the first one, how domestic waste pollutes water. It primarily contains biodegradable organic matter. Mainly we have which kind of matter? Biodegradable matter. Just 0.1% impurities make domestic sewage unfit for human use. Only this percent, domestic sewage, if it enters water, your water becomes unfit. Only how much percent, children?
0.1.
0.1.
Just 0.1%. This shows that how harmful is domestic sewage for water. What all basically we are talking about? It could be sand, silt and clay from your gardens. It could be colloidal matter from the washrooms, fecal matter, bacteria, cloth, paper fibers, dissolved materials, nutrients, nitrate, ammonia, phosphate, sodium and calcium. Domestic sewage mainly contains biodegradable organic waste which are readily decomposed with the help of decomposers. The only good news is that domestic sewage is basically biodegradable. So we have decomposers in water, so they decompose this waste. So the good part about domestic sewage is this. Domestic sewage from homes and hospitals may also contain pathogens which cause diseases like cholera, jaundice, etc. So the severe part is that only this much percent can spoil the water level, make it unfit for use. And the good part, the positive part is that all the domestic waste is what? Which kind of a waste is it?
Biodegradable.
Now we move on to industrial waste. This term is very important, biomagnification. You need to focus especially on this term, biomagnification. Industrial waste is released from petroleum, paper manufacturing, metal and chemical manufacturing industries. That means it could be any industry. They throw their waste into water bodies. So the industrial effluents, anything which comes out from the industry is effluent. It contains toxic heavy metals. When I say heavy metal, I mean an element whose density is more than 5 grams per centimeter cube. Tell me what is a heavy metal?
Whose density is more than 5
Elements
grams.
more than.
Yes, Peter, you should know the definition of heavy metals and you should know the examples also. Mercury, cadmium, copper and lead are the examples of heavy metals. Now tell me very quickly, if I give you 2-3 metals and I don't name them, how will you find out which is a heavy metal?
We'll find their density.
Metal with having density more than 5 grams per centimeter cube.
Yes, just take a piece, 5 centimeter cube, and take down the weight. It's the density is 5 grams or more, then it is a heavy metal. Okay, give me examples.
Copper, lead.
Mercury, cadmium, copper, lead.
So these heavy metals, beta, these, and variety of organic compounds leading to biomagnification. You have done biomagnification in 9th or 10th, I don't remember which class. Chalo, who will tell me what is biomagnification? I think in class 9th or 10th you must have studied. Tell me quickly.
No, it's the increase in the toxic level of the
Increase in toxic
increase
level.
in
Very good.
toxicity.
Where increase?
At trophic levels, I guess.
Excellent.
Food
Increase
chains.
toxicity level when we go higher in the level of a food chain is what we call as biomagnification. You must have done it in class 10th. Very nice. So biomagnification is a very serious problem when it comes to pollution factors. Biomagnification is another one. So which ones are more harmful according to you? Domestic waste or industrial waste?
Industrial.
Industrial.
Why do we think so? Why? Why? What is the logic behind beta? Tell me.
They are more toxic.
Why are they more toxic? You said industrial waste are more harmful compared to domestic waste. See, the most important reason.
Yes.
Because of presence of heavy metals.
Yes, one is no doubt presence of heavy metals.
They cannot be
And,
degraded.
Yes, they are not biodegradable. That is one very important thing. So I've got the 2 points I had. Very good. So if the question comes, give 2 reasons, state 2 reasons why industrial waste is more harmful compared to domestic waste. What are the 2 points you'll include?
Non-biodegradable.
Yes, 1 point is non-biodegradable. Which is the other point?
And heavy metals. are
Presence
present.
of heavy metals makes it toxic.
Yes. Also name the heavy metals when you write this answer. Name the heavy metals.
Mercury, copper, lead.
Mercury, copper, lead, cadmium.
What are heavy metals?
Whose
has
density is more than
estimated
5 gram per centimeter.
Very good. See, if you keep speaking and you attend your classes, these kind of chapters, you will never have a problem. You'll be able to learn them simultaneously. So we've done domestic waste, we've done industrial waste. We also did why industrial waste is more harmful. Oil spills and thermal wastewater are physical industrial pollutants. Oil spills are accidental discharge of petroleum from tankers, offshore drilling and oil refineries. Supposing there's a water body, it could be a boat, a ship, which is carrying oil and there's an accident. So the oil will all spill into the water. Such kind of a accident is known as an oil spill. What is it called?
Oil spill.
It could be from a ship, it could be from a tanker, or when there is refining going on, that time also you can have these accidents. The thermal wastewater from electricity generating units, that is thermal power plants, eliminate or reduce the number of organisms which are sensitive to high temperature. Who will explain this to me? Carl, explain this to me. Water pollution, this point. Read it, you'll understand.
Ma'am, when thermal wastewater enters the
And when thermal wastewater enters the water body, it it causes damage to the like
Ma'am,
organisms
it
which are
increases
sensitive to high temperature.
the temperature. That's why organisms which are sensitive
Yes, very good.
to high
Very good. The
temperature.
water, very good. The water which is coming out from thermal water plants is at high temperature. Compared to normal water, it is cold water, hot water, or normal water.
Hot.
Hot water.
Yes, it is hot water because we are burning fuels over there, thermal fuels, fossil fuels, sorry. That is why we call it as a thermal plant. So when such kind of an hot water, it reaches the water bodies, obviously it will damage what?
Organisms which are sensitive to high temperature.
Very good. They must be small fishes or other water organisms which cannot survive in hot waters.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Okay, sorry, I had muted myself. I forgot to unmute. These are the chief sources of noise pollution, beta. If a question comes, First, you will define noise pollution. Then you will talk about two sources, natural sources and anthropogenic sources. Then talk a bit about domestic sewage, industrial waste. In industrial waste, please mention about biomagnification. And then the third and the last point would be agriculture runoff. Now we're coming to a very important topic, that is BOD. I'm giving you 1 minute, read what is BOD and tell what is this showing? What is this graph trying to show you? Giving you 2 minutes, please start. Read this and also see what is this figure telling you. Because this graph comes often, you have to interpret it. Hurry up, bache. Dan, would you need more time? Okay, take a minute extra. Tell me, have you read, seen the graph, or you need a little more time? Just tell me whatever it is.
Red.
Okay, only one child is saying red. What about others?
Yes, ma'am, red.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
If all have read, now tell me little about BOD. What is BOD? What is the full form of BOD?
Biochemical
Chemical
oxygen
oxygen
demand.
Biochemical oxygen demand.
Okay, what does it mean? Tell me, what did you read? One by one, please explain.
It's the amount of dissolved O2 in water.
Okay, others also, please speak out whatever you understood.
Ma'am, when microorganisms perform biodegradation, then they consume a lot of oxygen, which results into the less oxygen in water bodies, which causes more BOD.
Okay, it causes more BOD means more demand of oxygen. Very
Demand
good.
of oxygen.
And what did you interpret from this figure? Tell me. What did you interpret? You want time to see the figures?
Concentration of oxygen is getting less.
When is it getting less, beta?
When waste material is discharged in the water body.
Why do you think it is getting less?
decomposing?
Very good. Relate both the things. Why is it getting less?
Because oxygen of biodegradation of organic matter.
Organisms are consuming the oxygen for biodegradation.
Yes. lot of oxygen is being consumed for biodegradation, and that is why the oxygen is becoming less. Very good, very good. So you could interpret the figure as well. One of you please read this paragraph. BOD, start reading. Amount of, read out the definition.
BOD is the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water body. Following the discharge of sewage into a river, microorganisms perform biodegradation of organic matter, which consumes a lot of oxygen, and as a result, there is a sharp decline in dissolved oxygen in the water body. This can cause death of fish and other aquatic creatures. BOD is higher in polluted water and lesser in drinking water.
What do you mean by decline, beta?
Decrease.
Decreases.
So, very good. So, we'll have a decline in the amount of oxygen. That means the amount of oxygen is going to decrease. Now, one more child, somebody else now. Explain the figure. Interpret the figure again once. Come on, who'll do it? Start. Last time somebody else did. Now, I want someone else to. Come on, you have to just explain the figure. We already. You have to just explain the figure, beta. Start. Okay, do it with me only. What are we showing in this figure? What is increasing?
BOD.
And why is it increasing?
Because concentration of
Because
oxygen is getting less.
Okay. Why is it written that fishes get killed and disappearance of water organisms? Why are we writing all this over here in the figure? Why are the fishes getting killed?
Because of decline in
The amount
oxygen.
of oxygen is
Yes. So what happens now? Dissolved oxygen is decreasing. We are showing the effect of which discharge in water bodies.
sewage.
What is
Sewage.
sewage? Very good. So we are just trying to relate things. If sewage is discharged into a water body, then how the degradation or decomposition will increase and water oxygen demand will increase. We come to another term, eutrophication, a very common term. Again, you must have done it in class 9th or 10th. A quick revision of what is eutrophication. Anyone remembers?
It's an increase in productivity of lake and other water bodies.
Oh, good, good. You remember this? Good. Let's read about eutrophication. I'll give you 2 minutes. Let's read quickly, then understand this. Just read better, then we'll discuss. Read beta? Have you read about eutrophication?
Yes, ma'am.
So eutrophication is the natural aging of a lake by the biological, yes, enrichment in the water. What do you understand by this sentence? Natural aging of a lake. What do you mean by this? How does
It
a lake
starts
become
growing.
old? Yes. So we are saying the lake has become old or the lake has become aged. How do we come to know the lake has become old? It's an old lake.
When the microorganisms start forming in this.
Biological enrichment. How? See, if you go for a young lake, the water is cold and clear, and you'll have very little life in it. Very few fishes, very few plants. So when you want to check out whether this lake is a new lake or an old lake, a very simple way of checking out. Obviously, you'll not be able to go inside the lake and count how many plants or how many fishes are there. You cannot make out. So the best way is touch the water. If the water is cold, this shows that the lake is
Young.
Young.
Young lake.
obviously we cannot take a dive every time inside the lake and check out how many fishes or how many plants are there. But now see, now when time passes, what happens is nutrients keep coming, nitrogen, phosphorus. So aquatic organisms, they keep growing and the fertility of the lake keeps on increasing. So beta, these organisms, they remains, they get deposited on the bottom of the lake. What are remains? What do you mean by remains?
Dead and decaying organic matter.
Yes, beta, the dead ones. Very good. Supposing a plant is dead or a fish is dead, it will go and settle down where? It will becomes heavier. When it's dead, it becomes heavier. So it settles where? It settles at the bottom of the lake. Now what happens? Time keeps on passing and organic debris, they pile up at the bottom. On the dead body, organic debris piles up. Means you have leaves on it, another dead body is on the top of it. And the lake water becomes shallower and warmer, and warm water organisms appear. Now the water will become warm gradually. When the debris is going to collect over there, decomposition process will start. Heat is generated. Whenever there's decomposition, heat is generated. So what will happen to your water? Your cold water will become? Yes.
Warm.
Warm.
Yes, the water becomes warm. So if you touch the water and your water is cold, then it's which kind of a lake?
Young.
Young lake.
So when it starts a little aging, we have more fishes die, they settle down at the bottom, more debris collects on them, decomposition process starts. Marsh plants, they take roots, okay, in the shallows and begin to fill in the original lake basins, and eventually the lake gets converted into a land. Now we are talking about the third stage. After the lake is all filled with debris on the ground, you've got dead remains on the top of that, you've got leaves deposited, you've got silt deposited. So more or less land kind of a surface is made at the base of a pond or a lake. So plants start growing there. Which kind of plants? Marshy plants. Those plants which grow in water. What are these plants called as?
Marshy plants.
Yes. And then your lake gets converted into a land only. Of course, this process takes thousands of years and it all depends on the climate and the size of the lake. So initially we had a young lake, we had cold water, very few organisms, hardly deaths. Then we had in the second stage an old lake where the water is very warm because of the decomposition of the dead remains. And gradually, so many dead remains on the surface of the lake that they convert into soil and you have plants over there. So your pond is converted into what?
Land.
It has converted into a land. Which kind of plants grow there?
Marshy.
Marshy plants, plants which need wet soil, a lot of wet soil. And this soil which is made from the ponds, it's very wet. So we have three types of ponds. First is a, which pond? Young pond. Then we have an old pond. And then we have pond converting into land. That is the third stage. How do you differentiate between a young pond and an old pond? Tell me quickly.
The water of young pond will be cold and
The water of young lake is cold and clear.
Why do you think it is cold?
Because
Hmm.
there is no
Because less
that
organisms
remains
are
of organic
present.
matter.
Yes, beta. Very few organisms are present, very few respiration process, very few decomposition. Heat is not being generated, so water is quite cold. And if you touch the water of a lake and you find, Arya, this water is quite hot, then what will you assume? It's an old lake or it's a new lake?
Old
Old.
lake.
It is old water.
Because what happens is when time passes, the dead organism, the fishes and all, when they die, they settle down at the base of the pond. And then more and more dead remains, they keep coming. Leaves keep settling down, and the base of the pond is converted into land. Yes, Peter. It is converted into land on which kind of plants grow?
Marshy plants.
Marshy
Very good.
plants.
The last part for today is cultural or accelerated eutrophication. Now, everybody knows what is eutrophication? 3 stages.
Yes, ma'am.
The acceleration of the aging process of water resources due to human activities by industrial and home based is called culturelated or accelerated eutrophication. See, this eutrophication was normal. The one I was talking about, animals died, fishes died, and then the pond was converted into a land. This is natural eutrophication. But sometimes what happens is we discharge effluents, whether it is waste from our homes or waste from our industries, and we increase the speed of eutrophication, accelerated eutrophication. You know the word acceleration in physics, acceleration and deceleration. So acceleration is increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Increasing.
So we are increasing the process of eutrophication. We are speeding up the process of eutrophication, human activities. This kind of a eutrophication is known as which eutrophication, beta? See this word. What is the word?
Accelerated eutrophication.
Actually,
See, normal process, we said it takes thousands of years for a lake to convert into a land. Natural eutrophication may take thousands of years. Accelerated eutrophication. The prime contaminants are nitrates, phosphates. They act as plant nutrients, overstimulating the growth of the algae. Now, what happens is we send waste into the water bodies, and these waste basically contain more amount of nitrates and phosphates. Which two nutrients?
Nitrates and phosphates.
phosphate.
Now, the algae which is present in the water, these nitrates and phosphates are very good food for them. So whatever waste we are throwing, that is nitrates and phosphate, are actually nutrients for algae. So when they get so many plant nutrients, algae will start growing at a very fast speed. So algae will grow. This will cause decrease in the dissolved oxygen needed by other aquatic organisms. Most of the oxygen is being consumed for respiration by whom? Algae. By whom, beta?
Algae.
Algae. So other aquatic organisms, fishes and other animals in water, they are not getting sufficient oxygen. At the same time, other pollutants flowing into a lake may poison the whole population of fishes, whose remains further deplete the dissolved oxygen, ultimately causing the lake to die. When I say lake is dying, it means the water is finishing and the soil is growing up. So what happened in accelerated eutrophication? We were throwing some waste from our factories and homes, which basically contain phosphates and nitrates. These phosphates and nitrates are nutrients for the growth of algae. So a lot of algae will grow, it will consume maximum amount of oxygen. And the other aquatic organisms will not get sufficient amount of oxygen. As a result, what will happen? They'll die. We may also add on some more pollutants which will cause to the death of the fishes. So again, this process will speed up rather than taking thousands of years, maybe in 400 years or 300 years, we may convert the lake into land. That means the lake may die. When I say lake die, it means what? The lake is converted into
Land.
land. So this process is known as accelerated eutrophication. So eutrophication is the normal process that we have. And accelerated eutrophication, who's going to accelerate the process of eutrophication? Which
Human
activity?
Human activities.
Human activity. So whenever we throw some pollutants into the water bodies, basically which are the two nutrients we are throwing in the water bodies?
Nitrates
Nitrates and phosphates.
These nitrates and phosphates are nutrients for which kind of category of plants?
Algae.
Algae.
So how will this growth of algae, it's normally called as algal bloom in science. We call